Welcome, everyone. We are live tonight. Oh, yes, we are live. I trust that everyone had a great day and that you're ready for sleeping. Listen, Lil Bit is having a snack, but he's ready too. Don't get it twisted. He is ready because you know he's up at the crack of dawn. Because he's up, you can see dawn's crack. In other words, but I digress. I digress. Tonight, we are reading The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. It says, leave the mirror and change your face. The power of awareness. Leave the world alone and change your conceptions of yourself. Chapter 1. I am. All things, when they are admitted, are made manifest by the light. For everything that is made manifest is light. Ephesians 5, verse 13. The light is consciousness. Consciousness is one, manifesting in legions of forms or levels of consciousness. There is no one that is not all that is. For consciousness, though expressed in an infinite series of levels, it's not divisional. Did you grasp that one? There is no one that is not all that is. In other words, Miss Fawn is all there is. I am all there is. You are all there is. There is no one that is not all that is. For consciousness, though expressed in an infinite series of levels, is not divisional. There is no real separation or gap in consciousness. I am cannot be divided. I may conceive myself to be a rich man, a poor man, a beggar man, or a thief, but the center of my being remains the same, regardless of the concept I hold of myself. At the center of manifestation, there is only one I am manifesting in legions of forms or concepts of itself, and I am that. I am. I am is the self definition of the absolute, the foundation on which everything rests. I am is the first cause substance. I am is the self definition of God. I am hath sent me unto you. Exodus 3, verse 14. I am that I am. Be still and know that I am God. 46, that's Psalm 46, verse 10. I am is a feeling of permanent awareness. The very center of consciousness is the feeling of I am. I may forget who I am, where I am, what I am, but I cannot forget that I am. The awareness of being remains regardless of the degree of forgetfulness of who, where, and what I am. In other words, let me slide on in here. Even though you may, listen, Alzheimer's, even though it may take your memories, it does not take the one memory, the one thing. You know that you have forgotten something. You know that you have forgotten someone. You know you can't remember how to do anything. Yet you know it is you who has done the forgetting. You see, that's what he means when he says the awareness of being remains, regardless of the degree of forgetfulness of who, where, and what I am. Corina. Hello, darling. Hello, kitty. Oh, no, Miss Kitty, I see you. I am is that which amid unnumbered forms is ever the same. Did you get it? I am is that which amid unnumbered forms is ever the same. You could have 8 billion people, they are still one. I am. It says this great discovery of cause reveals that good or bad, man is actually the arbiter of his own fate, and that it is his concept of himself that determines the world in which he lives, and his concept of himself is his reactions to life. In other words, if you are experiencing ill health, knowing the truth about cause, you can attribute the illness to anything other than you cannot attribute the illness to anything other than to the particular arrangement of the basic cause substance, an arrangement which was produced by your reactions to life and is defined by your concept of I am unwell. This is why you were told, let the weak man say, I am strong. Joel 3, verse 10. Hello, Daniel. Let the weak man say, I am strong. Joel 3, verse 10. For by his assumption, the cause substance, I am, is rearranged and must therefore manifest that which its rearrangement affirms. This principle governs every aspect of your life, be it social, financial, intellectual, or spiritual. I am is that reality to which whatever happens, we must turn for an explanation of the phenomena of life. It is I am's concept of itself that determines the form and scenery of its existence. Everything depends upon its attitude towards itself. That which it will not affirm as true of itself cannot awaken in this world. That is, Daniel, I see. You say I just know I am and I want to know better. To know better, you practice and you will know. That's how you'll know. That is your concept of yourself, such as I am strong, I am secure, I am loved, I am tired, determines the world in which you live. In other words, when you say, I am a man, I am a father, I am an American, you are not defining different I ams. You are defining different concepts or arrangements of the one cause substance, the one I am. Even in the phenomena of nature, if the tree were articulate, it would say, I am a tree. I am an apple tree, a fruitful tree. Arr. Then you know that consciousness is the one and only reality, conceiving itself to be something good, bad, or indifferent, and becoming that which it conceived itself to be. Well, you are free from the tyranny of second causes, free from the belief that there are causes outside of your own mind that can affect your life. In the state of consciousness of the individual is found the explanation of the phenomena of life. If man's concept of himself were different, everything in his world would be different. His concept of himself being what it is, everything in his world must be as it is. Oh Lord, say it again. If man's concept of himself were different, everything in his world would be different. His concept of himself being what it is, well, everything in his world must be as it is. Thus, it is abundantly clear that there is only one I am, and you are that I am. And while I am is infinite, you, by your concept of yourself, are displaying only a limited aspect of the infinite I am. Build thee more stately mansions, O my soul, as the swift seasons roll. Leave thy low vaulted past. Let each new temple nobler than the last shut thee from heaven with a dome more vast, till thou at length art free, leaving thine outgrown shell by life's unresting sea. Oliver Wendell Holmes, Sr., from the Chambered Nautilus, Chapter 2, Consciousness. It is only by a change of consciousness, by actually changing your concept of yourself, that you can build more stately mansions, or the manifestations of higher and higher concepts. By manifesting is meant experiencing the results of these concepts in your world. It is of vital importance to understand clearly just what consciousness is. The reason lies in the fact that consciousness is the one and only reality. It is the first and only cause substance of the phenomena of life. Nothing has existence for man. Nothing has existence for a man save through the consciousness he has of it. So nothing can exist unless you are aware of it. Therefore, it is to consciousness you must turn, for it is the only foundation on which the phenomena of life can be explained. If we accept the idea of a first cause, it would follow that the evolution of that cause could never result in anything foreign to itself. That is, if the first cause substance is light, all its evolutions, fruits, and manifestations would remain light. The first cause substance being consciousness, all its evolutions, fruits, and phenomena must remain consciousness. All that could be observed would be a higher or lower form or variation of the same thing. In other words, if your consciousness is the only reality, it must also be the only substance. Consequently, what appears to you as circumstances, conditions, and even material objects is really only the product of your own consciousness. Nature, then, as a thing or a complex of things eternal to your mind, must be rejected. You and your environment cannot be regarded as existing separately. You and your world are one. You and your environment cannot be regarded as existing separately. You and your world are one. Let me slide in here. Doesn't matter what you believe about global warming, the environment. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm trying to say to you is stop trying to fret and worry about the environment as being this idle thing when the environment is you. The environment is you. If you think there's not enough, you will behave like there's not enough, thereby exploiting the world like it is not enough, thereby creating deficiencies, i.e., global warming. Well, we go through phases, rhythms. We'll get warmer, we'll get cooler. Oh, yes, we shall. But what's getting warmer and what's getting cooler? Where you are. Why is that? Because you are part of. You're not separate from. The reason why we mistreat number one each other, ourselves, and the world we live in is because we think we are separate from it. We think that what we do to it, we're not doing to ourselves. Hmm. It is just an observation. But anywho, you and your environment cannot be regarded as existing separately. You and your world are one. Therefore, you must turn from the objective appearance of things. In other words, turn from what you can see, hear, taste, smell, touch. Turn from that because it is objective. It is there. You can touch it, right? But turn from it to what? The subjective center of things, your consciousness. All things were once subjective. They were once here, but now they're out here. If you truly desire to know the cause of the phenomena of life and how to use this knowledge to realize your fondest dreams. So he says, therefore, you must turn from the objective appearance of things to the subjective center of things, your consciousness, if you truly desire to know the cause of the phenomena of life and how to use this knowledge to realize your fondest dreams. Well, Daniel, there is just one. Many faces, many cultures, but just one. Just one. And it's you. Put it this way then. There's only one breath that people are breathing all at the same time. The air is invisible, is it not? Unless it's really cold where you are, like it is where I am, and you go outside and all you see is the evidence of your existence, right? Every single one of us inhales and exhales, do we not? If oxygen ceased to be, how many people would still remain? So there's only one breath. One breath. One. Let's carry on. In the midst of the apparent contradictions, antagonisms, and contrasts of your life, there is only one principle at work, only your consciousness operating. Difference does not consist in variety of substance, but in variety of arrangement of the same cause substance. Your consciousness, let me slowly say that. Differences in things, right? Does not consist in variety of substance, but in variety of arrangement of the same cause substance. Meaning you can arrange your mind in many different ways, but you're only arranging one mind. The world moves with motiveless necessity. The world moves with motiveless necessity. By this is meant that it has no motive of its own, but is under the necessity of manifesting your concept, the arrangement of your mind. And your mind is always arranged in the image of all you believe and consent to as true. Let me slide in, because that we talked about it this morning actually. The arrangement. So the world moves with motiveless necessity. By this is meant that it has no motive of its own, but is under the necessity of manifesting your concept, the arrangement of your mind. And your mind is always arranged in the image of all you believe and consent to as true. So to put that in layman's terms, the seamstress, the tailor, the chef, whoever, the stylist, whoever, they have arranged their minds. What do you mean? The seamstress sees a dress. The tailor sees a suit. The chef sees a plated dish. The musician hears an entire piece. Where does he hear? Where do they see? The image right here. And because they hold that image to be true, well, then they write the song that they hear in their heads. At least that's how I write the song. I will hear the melody. And once I hear the melody, ah, na, da, ah, na, ah, na, da, 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 ah, na, da, 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 da. I hear the melody in my head. And then I sat down and the words came out to match the melody. So the world moves in motiveless necessity. It does not move on its own. It moves because it is going to match my internal image, your internal image. That is how it moves. Huh? The rich man, the poor man, the beggar man, or thief are not different minds, but different arrangements of the same mind in the same sense. And that a piece of steel, when magnetized, differs not in substance from its demagnetized state, but in the arrangement and order of its molecules. A single electron revolving in a specified orbit constitutes the unit of magnetism. And when a piece of steel or anything else is demagnetized, the revolving electrons have not stopped. Therefore, the magnetism has not gone out of existence. There is only a rearrangement of the particles so that they produce no outside or perceptible effect. Ooh, that was beautiful. When particles are arranged at random, mixed up in all directions, the substance is said to be demagnetized. But when particles are marshaled in ranks so that a number of them face in one direction, the substance is a magnet. Magnetism is not generated, it is displayed. Well, the molecules are there. When you expose them to the magnet, you see because they're there. Health, wealth, beauty, and genius are not created. They are only manifested by the arrangement of your mind. That is, by your concept of yourself. And your concept of yourself is all that you accept and consent to as true. Oh my God, I'm like so awesome. I'm amazing. Or you could say, oh, I'm like totally nobody. As long as you believe it, well, then what you believe, whether you are. That's what he's saying here. And what you consent to can only be discovered by an uncritical observation of your reactions to life. Your reactions reveal where you live psychologically. Oh, I didn't catch that, Angela. Say it again. Your reactions reveal where you live psychologically. And where you live psychologically determines how you live here in the outer visible world. The importance of this in your daily life should be immediately apparent. The basic nature of the primal cause is consciousness. Therefore, the ultimate substance of all things is consciousness. Oh, look, let's read chapter 3 and end there. Chapter 3 is near long at all. So let's read it because I feel fired up. Chapter 3, the power of assumption. Man's chief delusion is his conviction that there are causes other than his own state of consciousness. I will say it again. Man's chief delusion is his conviction that there are causes other than his own state of consciousness. All that befalls a man, all that is done by him, all that comes from him, happens as a result of his state of consciousness. A man's consciousness is all that he thinks and desires and loves, all that he believes is true and consents to. That is why a change of consciousness is necessary before you can change your outer world. Why? Rain falls as a result of a change in the temperature in the higher regions of the atmosphere. So, in like manner, a change of circumstance happens as a result of a change in your state of consciousness. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12, verse 2. To be transformed, the whole basis of your thoughts must change. But your thoughts cannot change unless you have new ideas. For you think from your ideas. All transformation begins with an intense, burning desire to be transformed. The first step in the renewing of the mind is desire. The first step in the renewing of the mind is desire. You must want to be different and intend to be before you can begin to change yourself. Then you must make your future dream a present fact. How, Neville? How? You do this by assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. By desiring to be other than what you are, you can create an ideal of the person you want to be and assume that you are already that person. If this assumption is persisted in until it becomes your dominant feeling, the attainment of your ideal is inevitable. Do you hear that, Mr. Anderson? That is the sound of inevitability. Why? He says, if this assumption is persisted in until it becomes your dominant feeling, the attainment of your ideal is inevitable. Well, look at your present dominant feelings. You're living them. So there's no difference. So he's telling you, get this new one to be your dominant feeling, and your new ideal is inevitable. But I digress. The ideal you hope to achieve is always ready for an incarnation. But unless you yourself offer it human parentage, it is incapable of birth. Therefore, your attitude should be one in which, having desired to express a higher state, you alone accept the task of incarnating this new and greater value of yourself. In giving birth to your ideal, you must bear in mind that the methods of mental and spiritual knowledge are entirely different. How so? This is a point that is truly understood by probably not more than one person in a million. Well, how? You know a thing mentally by looking at it from the outside, by comparing it with other things, by analyzing it and defining it, by thinking of it. Whereas you can know a thing spiritually only by becoming it, only by thinking from it. Oh, but he elaborates. You must be the thing itself and not merely talk about it or look at it. You must be like the moth in search of his idol, the flame, who, spurred with true desire, plunging at once into the sacred fire, folded his wings within till he became one color and one substance with the flame. He only knew the flame who is in it burned, and only he could tell who ne'er to tell returned. Oh, I hope you got that poem. Bird Parliament by Farid Din Attar by Edward Fitzgerald, 1889. Just as the moth is his desire, or in his desire to know the flame, was willing to destroy himself, so must you, in becoming a new person, be willing to die to your present self. Meaning, I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. That part of you, ugh, you cannot serve two masters. So you must live to one and die to the other. It does not mean a physical death, it means a psychological death. Psychologically, you must die to, I'm not worthy, so that you can get up and say, I am worthy. Because you can't get bitter water and fresh water from the same spring. So you must become what it is you say you are. You must become it. Anyway, I digress. You must be conscious of being healthy if you are to know what health is. You must be conscious of being secure if you are to know what security is. Therefore, to incarnate a new and greater value of yourself, you must assume that you are already what you want to be, and then live by faith in this assumption, which is not yet incarnate in the body of your life, but live in it in confidence that this new value or state of consciousness will become incarnated through your absolute fidelity to the assumption that you are that which you desire to be. This is what wholeness means, what integrity means. They mean submission of the whole self to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, in certainty that that new state of consciousness is the renewing of mind which transforms. There is no order in nature corresponding to this willing submission of the self to the ideal beyond the self. Oh, I have to say that again because you know, as within, so without. It is a principle of correspondence. So he says there is no order in nature corresponding to this willing submission of the self to the ideal beyond the self. So, as within the self, so must the exterior self be, because you will not find it in nature, is what that statement means. So, again, there is no order in nature corresponding to this willing submission of the self to the ideal beyond the self. Therefore, it is the height of folly to expect the incarnation of a new and greater concept of self to come about by natural evolutionary process. That which requires a state of consciousness to produce its effect obviously cannot be effected without such a state of consciousness. And in your ability to assume the feeling of a greater life, to assume a new concept of yourself, you possess what the rest of nature does not possess: imagination, the instrument by which you create your world. Well, let me slide in there. The lion is only ever the lion. The rose is only ever the rose. But you can be healthy. You can be wealthy. You can be wise. You can be all these things just as you imagine them to be. You, you hold, you, or should I say, you possess what the rest of nature does not possess: imagination, the instrument by which you create your world. Your imagination is the instrument, the means whereby your redemption from slavery, sickness, and poverty is effected. If you refuse to assume the responsibility of the incarnation of a new and higher concept of yourself, well, then you reject the means, the only means whereby your redemption, that is, the attainment of your ideal, can be effected. Imagination is the only redemptive power in the universe. However, your nature is such that it is optional to you whether you remain in your present concept of yourself, a hungry being longing for freedom, for health and security, or choose to become the instrument of your own redemption, imagining yourself as that which you want to be, and therefore satisfying your hunger and redeeming yourself. Oh, be strong then and brave, pure, patient, and true. The work that is yours let no other hand do. For the strength for all need is faithfully given from the fountain within you, the kingdom of heaven. Oh, I gotta read that little poem again. It says, oh, be strong then and brave, pure, patient, and true. The work that is yours let no other hand do. For the strength for all need is faithfully given from the fountain within you, the kingdom of heaven. And there concludes chapter 3, my beautiful friends, of what book? What book did we read again? That's so bad. We are reading, because there's 120 pages left in, um, let me see, and I can tell you, because it doesn't have the name of the book on the top. I don't want bookmarks. Click on done. Search book. That's not what I want either. See, the joys of having a paper book, right? You can just flip to whatever you want. Contents. The Power of Awareness. The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. We have concluded at chapter 3. Now, what do we practice on a daily basis? Here is the process to changing any situation in your life. Whether it be good, bad, indifferent, it does not matter the situation. So, step 1, what do you want? What do you want to become? That's the question, yes? What do you want to become? Do you have the answer to that? Oh, goody. If you don't, take another minute and think about it. Don't try and justify why you think you deserve it. It has nothing to do with deservedness. It has nothing to do with deservedness. Listen, you could be the most vile and wicked creature on the planet. You still gonna have something in this world. The law does not discriminate. It just simply bends as how you bend. It copies you. So step 1, what do you want to become? You silently name it. Oh, good. Step 2, rehearse in imagination how you would behave if you were. Hmm. Rehearse in imagination what you would in reality if you were. Because remember, step 1, what do you want to become? So step 2 is rehearse. So in order to become this thing, you have to know what it is. So rehearse it. Rehearse what healthy means. For instance, there's a flight of stairs you can't take. Rehearse in imagination the joy of walking up and down those stairs. You put one foot up, you put the other, you step up, and you say, ooh, stairs don't have nothing on me. I feel good. My knees don't complain. My back is great. I am healthy. Yes? But what if it was your personality? It wasn't stairs that bothered you so much. What if you wanted the ability to hike? Can you imagine if you hiked to the top of that hill and you looked out, whereas before you could not? Just the thrill of looking out to say, "Oh my God!" You look out just down into the valley, knowing you were once in the valley, but you're on the hill now. So rehearse in imagination what you would do in reality if you became that thing. People rehearse their Oscar speeches, their Grammy speeches, their Emmy speeches. Rehearse in imagination what you would do in reality if you became what you said you wanted to become. And step 3, because wait, step 2 is not done yet. Once you catch that feeling just right, like the seamstress, I always remember the woman who crocheted her wedding dress. Crazy she thought she was, but she crocheted it in 2 months. And she said something that really impacted me because it showcased the law at work. She said, every time a stitch did not match what I had in my imagination, I pulled it out. So she's looking at it. She goes, that doesn't match. Well, there's no pattern on the table. The pattern is in her mind's eye. And she's looking at this pattern in her imagination. And she's like, well, that stitch doesn't match. But here's the thing. Do you think I would ever know if the stitch matched? Because I didn't see the original pattern. So it doesn't matter to me if it matched, but it mattered to her. And because she got that stitch right to match what was in her mind's eye, she felt a sense of peace in the knowing that her stitches matched. The internal stitch matched the outside stitch, right? So when you rehearse in imagination what you have become in reality, it will feel a particular way. It'll feel peaceful, all in one, with a thrill, with an excitement, with a. It will feel incredible to you. Now we flow into step 3. You lay still, sit still, stand still, be still, and bask in the feeling of accomplishment that your internal image and what you are rehearsing match. That is the process. And we do it naturally, all day, every day. It's just that we don't think we are. We do it naturally. So, as we slide into the silence for 5 minutes, I'll set my timer. As we slide into the silence for 5 minutes, remember, step one, know what you want to become. Step two, rehearse what you became in your imagination, because that is how you will behave in reality. You are rehearsing for your starring role. And allow the feeling to just overtake you. Step three, bask. Bask in the feeling that just overtook you. And then just let it go, like a stoplight, remember? It's red, you stop. And you just imagine and you do. And when the light turns green, you go, oh, gotta drive. And you let it go. That's it. Now, let us slide into the silence for 5 minutes. And that concludes our 5 minutes of silence. Clearly, my child doesn't know what silence is. So, I trust you found tonight's lecture helpful. Oh, blessings, itty bitty. I trust that you found it helpful, but better yet, apply it. Apply it. Because we're meant to test ourselves, yes? Anywho, you know we always chime in. Silent J, howdy. I see you here on Twitter. Cyber, you're in the house. Ow. And for some reason, I didn't it didn't save to Facebook. I'm so annoyed, but I'm okay with that one. I'm okay. It's saved on YouTube. So Cyber's here, Daniel. Um V for MPs, I guess. And then Corrine. Hello, Kitty. She's there. And let's see. Well, so no, Wisdom Almighty 69 is here. That's everybody on YouTube. And oh, hello, Travis. Flo smiles. Happy. I haven't seen you in a while, sweetness. A.M. Amani. Yet. Did you check your email? Holla at your girl. Let me know. Miss Charms. And my dearest Fawn. I have missed all of you. Miss Fawn, yes, because you've been a stranger. But that's okay. We all reconnect, don't we? We're brothers and sisters in law, so we always find each other. Uh-oh. Itty bitty. You're okay? Lord have mercy. I thought you were gonna like fly away or something. Sorry, y'all. I thought he needed some assistance. He's just trying to hop around. You know how he is with that leg. Anywho, and before we go, we always chime in for a few moments. This is the nighttime chime. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Much love to each and every one of you on this glorious Tuesday evening. Rest well, my beautiful friends, and you know I'm going to see you at the crack of dawn. I'll see you at the crack of dawn right here. Fanbase, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for morning inspiration. I don't know what the topic is just yet. It'll come to me. It always does. And you know I'll be ready in the morning when you are. Good night, my beautiful friends. Good night.